Good morning, family. Welcome to today's Lessons for Life. Today is Saturday, December 27, 2008. And today we're reading Exodus chapter 39, and we see that the children of Israel have completed, basically through this chapter, completed building all the stuff that the Lord had commanded for Moses to have them to build. And towards the end of the chapter, they actually bring it to Moses for him to look over everything. And that's what I want to use for today's Lessons for Life, because as they bring it to Moses to look over everything, guess what? He looks over it and everything is good, and he actually ends up blessing them. And that's not something that we want to take for granted, that they actually did everything that he wanted them to do, or that the Lord had instructed Moses, because that's one thing that we can learn from this chapter, of how they followed the directions to a T. Because you remember, the Lord spoke to Moses, and it was very detailed instructions. He told them to build each particular thing, the ark, to the robes for the priest, and for everything that very detailed. And for them to follow the instructions, that's not something that I take lightly as I'm looking at it, because a lot of times we get messed up in our own lives by not exactly following instructions exactly as we're supposed to. And I believe a perfect example of this is even, let's say, dealing with a doctor or a health counselor, or anyone who even knows what they're talking about, may tell you something to do in regards to your health, something you should start doing, something you should take. And a lot of times people don't follow it exactly to a T, and then they'll get messed up because they've skipped certain things, or they haven't followed this here. They did something on their own at another time, and because they don't follow the instruction to a T, they mess themselves up. And like I said, this is a lesson that we can get in life of how to really follow instructions exactly as we're supposed to, especially from someone or from a source that we know is a credible source, and they know what they're talking about. Because if someone is telling you something and they've been through it, or they know what they're talking about, then that is actually a pattern that we can follow. If you follow the exact instruction, that's a pattern that we can follow to get our desired result. So if it is someone, like a doctor or some kind of health counselor, and they're telling us something that can help us, then we need to follow the instructions exactly in order to get the results. Because then if you start to modify it, then you don't know what results you're going to get. But if you know that they've been through this, or they've seen this before, and they can tell you that, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that you need to take in order to get a desired result, then you need to follow steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Don't do 1, 2, and then sometimes do 3 and 4, and then expect to have the same result at the end. So that's what I got from this chapter 39 of, now they finished it, and Moses looks over it, and he approves it, and he blesses them, because they've actually followed this to a T, exactly what the Lord had wanted for them to build. And this wasn't even, it was even, I guess I would say, harder for them, because they didn't even hear from the Lord. It was a 3-stage, because the Lord spoke to Moses, then Moses spoke, told them. So it wasn't even directly getting the instructions directly, but still they was able to get all the details right and get the result of producing what they were supposed to produce. So that's the lesson that we can get from this in our own life. When we're supposed to follow instructions, that we want to be able to follow exactly as it's supposed to be done. And that's not something that's really easy to do. A lot of people kind of look over that and I guess disregard it, but that's something that is a very important thing that can give us even greater success in life. Just being able to follow the pattern that other people can relate to us, that we can then kind of bypass some of the challenges or the problems that we would go through if we didn't have the patterns to follow. So with that is today's Lessons for Life. Go ahead and create yourself a wonderful, blessed day today, and we will talk again tomorrow.